A lot of you hanging on. We'll go right to the phone calls. As always, the number to dial, 888-ASK-HANK, numerically 888-275-4265. Let's go first to Parker. He's listening in Nashville, Tennessee on Butt Radio. Hi, Parker.
Hey, Hank. How's it going?
Going well, thank you.
Good. All right, so I've got a question, and I think I've heard you talk about it before on the broadcast, and I agree with where you're standing, and I just don't know if I have a whole lot of backup for it. So I guess the question is, after Christ was crucified, there's the argument, I guess, that he went to hell first, the 3 days before he was risen again. And the one argument that I guess I can think of, against that is that he told the thief on the cross next to him that, you'll be with me today in heaven. And so, but that's kind of the only thing that I can think of to, specifically refute that. And I don't really know what the theological implications would or wouldn't be if that were true. So,
sure.
That's it.
Yeah, and I think you have to think of the inverse of this. Is there anything in the Bible that would hint at the notion that Jesus Christ went to hell? And I would say, no, there is not. Well, what the Bible is clear and unambiguous about is that Jesus, as you point out, says to the thief on the cross, today you'll be with me in paradise. And to the Father, he says, Father, into thy hands I commend my spirit. There's nothing in the biblical text whatsoever to suggest that Jesus Christ went to hell. Now, there is an inference that he went to Hades, but of course, saying that he went to Hades simply means that he went to the place that the Lord was, because Hades is a place where you find Abraham's bosom or paradise, as well as the place for those who are unregenerate. If you look at Luke chapter 16, Christ makes that crystal clear. Now, what are the implications? Well, the implications in general are not heresy. In other words, there's nothing heretical in saying he descended into hell. I mean, it was part of a creedal inclusion that happened somewhere around the 8th or 10th century. I don't remember exactly when it became popular in the creed, but that creedal inclusion was the result of a misunderstanding between Hades and Gehenna, one being a temporary abode, the other being an eternal abode, one being inclusive, the other being the place for the damned, inclusive in the sense that Jesus talked about Hades, as just mentioned in Luke chapter 16, as the place where the beggar was being comforted and the rich man was in torment, and a gulf fixed between them. So there's nothing heretical in saying that Jesus descended into hell. It may be wrong-headed, but it's not heretical. But it is heretical when you have people like Joyce Meyer or Joel Osteen saying that Jesus did not finish his redemptive work upon the cross and was wrong to say it is finished on the cross because the debt had not been paid, according to Osteen and to Meyer. Instead, the debt had to be paid in hell, and even then, according to these false teachers, the debt was not paid. So the debt had to be paid even after that, and that's why Mary couldn't cling to Jesus, because he still had to go to the holy place, and he didn't want his blood defiled. So it really depends on where these teachers take this. To say he descended into hell, again, is not heretical, but to say that he did not finish the work of redemption on the cross and therefore had to go to hell is clearly heretical. In fact, I call it in my book the Osteenification of American Christianity. I call it exactly what it is. It is an atonement atrocity, because you're looking at the centrality of salvation, the atonement of Jesus Christ upon the cross, and now rejiggering this. And again, this is all part of the politically correct agenda. It is all the part and parcel of not teaching what the Word says, but simply turning the Word of God into a wax nose, so it says anything you want it to say. The book, by the way, The Ostinification of American Christianity, downloads on the book and CDs on the book. You can find them on the web at equip.org. We'll be back in just a few moments with more answers to your questions right here on the Bible Answer Man broadcast, so please don't touch that dial.